Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of One Last Question. My name is Jason Smith, aka the Tallest Man Comedy. I'm here with my co host, Carrie Bemis, aka the Paparazzi Hottie. And we
Hello.
are here with our guest, Angie Christian.
Hi,
And
guys.
we're excited to have her on the show and get a chance to talk with her.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate you doing this. I think this is honestly, this is I know for a fact, it's the raciest, I think, episode we've ever had. And I truly think that it's probably going to be the most honest that most people have heard. And I think it's really cool. And it kind of goes into like when I first met you, that's
Mhm.
the one thing that kind of like attracted me to your energy. Like you didn't know anyone in that room, but you were just like, oh yeah, I do this and I do this and I do this. You had no like hesitation. You weren't embarrassed, nothing. So that's kind of like what attracted me to
Oh,
like your energy for real. So I would like to talk about that because I mean, first and foremost, you're an entrepreneur. That's how I've told you that before.
yes.
You are not afraid. This is just my opinion. I should let you talk. Sorry. I feel you're an entrepreneur and you kind of dabble in whatever you want to dabble in. So I would like to talk about that first. I was
Absolutely.
looking on your Facebook page and I know that there's more stuff that you're involved with. Give me my Diane Sawyer moment for one
Go
second.
for it. Go for it.
So, all right. So it just says like, you put like, where are you? Okay. Owner and CEO of Get Curvy with Angie.
Mhm.
IBO for ACN, co-owner, Polar Bear. I want to know about this. Now, I met you through a pure romance party.
Yes.
So wherever you want to start,
Okay.
let's start. It's all about what you want to talk about.
Sure. So I've actually been doing pure romance since 2012. And for those that do not know what pure romance is, I educate women on sexual health. Well, actually, people all over, it doesn't matter your sex. And I really am trying to empower more women to take hold of their
Mm.
own sex life, their sexual pleasures. I educate them on their bodies. I sell bedroom accessories, lubrications, lingerie, uh, all the fun stuff that you need to liven up your bedroom with. And, you know, that I would have to say is my passion. My passion
Mm.
is to help other people. I just a couple stories real quick. I had a 72-year-old woman at one of my parties one time, and I was going through the toys, explaining different things, and she didn't know what a clitoris was. I don't know if I can say that live, but
Say it. Oh my
it's not a
gosh.
bad word. It's not a bad word. And that's
Correct.
another reason why I
Yeah.
do this is because there's such a stigma
Right.
on sex that, our children aren't being educated. They don't
Okay.
understand. But I'll get to that in just a second. So back to my story. I've got really bad ADHD. So I'm like a squirrel.
It's
Um,
okay. She was 72.
do what, honey?
She was 72.
Yes. And she didn't know what a
Wow.
clitoris was because back in her generation,
Yeah.
sex was purely for um, childbearing. It really
Mm.
wasn't for pleasure for the women, at least. So after the party, I gave her a full body anatomy lesson, sent her home with a couple toys.
Wow.
2 months later, she called me thanking me for her first orgasm. So I was really
Wow.
excited for that. Yeah. And,
Wow.
I've helped married couples stay married. I had a couple that was in my ordering room. They came in together. They'd been married for 12 years. She was going through menopause. So she was having her hormone changes. And she's like, look, I have no libido. My husband wants it all the
Mm.
time. I'm not in the mood ever. So, we went through the
Wow.
catalog. They bought like, I want to say like $600 or $700 worth of stuff.
Aw.
And 2 weeks later, the husband called me, thanking me for saving their marriage.
Oh, that's
And she didn't
awesome.
know that he had called me. And she had called a couple
Wow.
weeks after that and was like, hey, I just want to thank you. You really helped us put the spark back in the bedroom. And, I'm finally able to enjoy sex again. So
Yes.
that's why I do what I do. It's not
Yes.
just to sell products. I have to, and one of my favorite parts is research and development. I have to know what I'm selling, right?
I laugh really loud. I get it. Have you used every product? Just about?
Almost, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to be
Right.
to give my opinions on it, right? I mean, even though like
Absolutely.
technically I'm not supposed to be like, yeah, I think it's great. I'll be like, yes, I've had many good reviews on that product. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, I really feel like that's one of my passions, especially like I try to teach these women on a more serious note. You know, when we're educating our children on sexual health, we have to make sure that they know the medical terminology for these body parts, because we can't call it cookie, flower, worm, you know, because
Mm.
in the court of law, if a child is molested and they don't know the proper terminology, they cannot convict
Mm.
the you know, person that did the molesting. So
Mhm.
I try to explain to these women, these are just medical terminology words for these body parts.
Yeah.
We have to, you know, teach our children. So I actually
Mhm.
have a bunch of people that want me to have the talk with their children, because not everybody wants to
Yeah.
have the sex talk with their mom and dad. And I know how to make it age appropriate. So I have 7
Yeah.
godchildren. I have had the talk with all of them. You know, I get crazy text messages sometimes from them like, TT, I think I have go get it checked. Go get it checked. Like, this is how you protect yourself. We went
I
over this.
love that.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
Well,
But that's just one of my many businesses. I own 5 altogether, and then I dibble and dabble in some other things as well. So that I would have to say is my passion, though, is the
Mhm.
pure romance. So yeah.
yeah.
I
Is that because of I mean that had to come from somewhere. So like one of my questions was is like when did you realize you were kind of like sexually like curious or intrigued or wanting, because you're more than just like being like, oh, I'm horny. It's like you want knowledge for it, right?
absolutely.
So was there a certain age that you realized that this happened?
So the crazy part about that is I didn't lose my virginity until after I was 18, and it was to another virgin. But I was the friend that all the friends came to for sexual advice, even though I wasn't the one having sex. Like, I was just the one that was like educating them and like I've taught many of my friends how to um,
Yeah.
give oral favors,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and you know, then their boyfriends are always like, "Where did you learn that from?" And they're like, "My friend Angie," and they're like, right on. Not tooting my own horn, but
No.
Yeah. Well,
Have you been, sorry,
it's
Jason, go
so
ahead.
it's so weird because sex is like half physical, half psychological. So
yes.
it's a really weird thing where sometimes you have one and not the other,
Yes.
but like
Mhm.
it's really good when you have both. But
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
never had both and you only have one, you just might think that that's what it's just we're exchanging fluids and it's just, oh, your body's hot, or it's I'm so in love with you, I connect with you up here, that's what makes it special.
Absolutely.
It's
So
like if you know you don't know what you're missing, so you
right.
don't know,
Right.
So sometimes it's important if someone can come and say, no, you should not just enjoy the physical act, but also want to stay up and talk for hours
Yeah,
if it's the right
it's the
person.
intimacy in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah,
It's not just
yeah,
sex, the act. It is the
right,
intimacy. And
right.
it's funny that you mentioned that, because I recently got into a relationship after I told myself I was never getting in a relationship. I entered a poly relationship, so I have a boyfriend and a girlfriend now.
Okay.
And
Good.
yeah, I'm super excited. They're taking me to Jamaica for my birthday in October. I'm super excited about
Nice.
that, right? But
I love it.
so like
Of course they are.
I always was I always tried to keep emotions out of sex because I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to have that emotional connection.
Yeah.
However, my boyfriend and I are very spiritual when it comes to like astrology and full moons and new moons and manifesting and everything. And so, you know, we actually have a ritual on full moons and new moons that, we have sex manifestation music, and it's like it's crazy. It's really deepened our connection spiritually as well.
Yeah.
And just exploring new things in the bedroom is great. Not just, sexual things, but opening up and talking and getting to know somebody, and knowing them on a deeper level is really important to actually be able to enjoy sex. Because you can go have sex with anybody, but to have a connection, and like you were saying, Jason, to have that connection, it really does mean a lot. And the older I get, the more appreciative I am of that. Because like I said, when I was younger, I was just I was a squirrel trying to bust my nut, and that's it. Like,
yeah, I totally get it.
Carrie always talks about her parents, and then like they would be like banging, and then like her friends were over, and she's like, it's gross. Like, what's wrong with them? He's like the headboard smacking the wall. She's like, oh my God, they're disgusting. But like, I always kind of was like, that's actually pretty cool, because they're like in their like late 40s, early 50s.
Absolutely.
And they were still getting it on, man. That's like,
they should.
Yeah, that's like really healthy. Obviously when you're 17, that's like, oh my God, my parents naked, the grossest thing ever. But I always thought that was really cool that they had that kind of relationship to where the magic didn't fade away. They were still into each other. Yes. And neither of them looked good at that point, but the intimacy was there, and the bringing somebody pleasure was there, and that's a lot of it. That's most of it,
You're right. Me saying it was gross is because those were my parents. We'd walk into the kitchen, and they'd be like making out, and we'd be like, "Oh my God!"
I love that for them, though.
Exactly. And
not so much for you, but for them, yes. But then again, you get to see firsthand what a healthy, loving,
truly
healthy sexual relationship can do. Also, because what they do in the bedroom can strengthen their relationship outside of the bedroom as well.
Yeah.
Sex is super healthy for you. The more orgasms you have, the longer you live. Did you know that? Yeah.
I did not know that was a fact.
I didn't know that either, but I believe it.
I absolutely believe it.
I'm living forever. But I want
just like my liver
to live forever. So that's why I do what I do with your romance and selling my products and educating people. So it's really led me to meet some amazing people also, like Carrie. So I just love it. I just absolutely love it.
I will say, I'm going to be honest, and Jason, you know that I've told you this. Yes, I've had sex, and I've been married and had sex, whatever. And I'm not dogging anybody, but it took me many years to kind of just let go, because I was always too concerned. I was fat, and I was I was ugly, and this roll here, and this, that type of stuff, right? Because I was heavy. I've had gastric bypass surgery, so I've lost weight. Even now, I've gained like 30 pounds, and I'm still thinking,
you still look amazing, though.
Thank you. My point is that then I was too concerned about, oh my God, I look ugly. Yeah, I was loving it, but I wasn't there, right? I wasn't letting go. Now, even though I have some weight on, he taught me that, though. Seriously.
Thank you, Jason.
He did. And we've been together like 23 years, but it took that long. I mean, I'm 48. What was this, like 42 years ago? Maybe? Like when I finally was like, yeah, you're right. He's just like, just let go. Who cares? Just let go. Just be whatever. Tell me whatever. It's fine. And I'm going to give this to the men out there when they say like, hey, girl, just tell me whatever you want. And if they say something that's really kind of weird, just be like, okay, don't act like, oh, that's weird. If you do that, it's like, nope, not doing that anymore.
Right.
So once you kind of like, because, sexual, whatever you're thinking sexually is, like we always say, Jay, once you have an orgasm, sometimes that goes away and you go, oh my God, why was I thinking that?
Right? No. So, I'll ask her like, hey, can I talk dirty to you? And she's like, yeah. And then I'll say whatever raunchy shit that I want to say that like helps get me off or get her off or whatever, like it's about like you get that like those feelings of like lust.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you're like
Yes.
it's like hot to go with it and to just say like
Yes.
some
Just
Right.
live
some
in the moment.
raunchy shit like like 50 Shades of Grey. That was like the whole thing was like this guy's a freak. Like he likes it really kinky. He's turning me out now. Like I didn't read it, but that was synopsis through context.
No, I that's funny you said that, Jason, because I'm also a professional dominatrix.
Oh,
I've been doing that for 9 years. I have a full dungeon in my basement. I have professional athletes that come and see me, judges, lawyers, people fly in from all over just to
Wow.
have sessions with me. And Carrie, kind of on what you were talking about with, feeling insecure. Years ago, before I started doing this, I was very insecure about my body. I'm a big girl. I was at my highest, I was at 250. I'm down to 210 now just because I'm trying to wear a bikini on the beach, regardless of how people look at me. I'm wearing a bikini
yeah,
in Jamaica.
yeah.
But, walking in front of the mirror back then, I'd be like, ugh. And now I walk in front of the mirror and I'm like, eh. And
Yeah.
having men on their knees worshiping you, no matter your size, no matter
Ah,
what kind of scars, anything like that, that's very empowering. And I love to help other women feel empowered. So I also do like dom trainings because I feel like every woman should feel confident in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Like
yes.
society has put such a huge like weight on us women to look a certain way. But I actually had an NFL player on my roster for many, many years before this relationship. And his baby mom was like absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I'm talking like model. And I'm like,
yeah.
dude, what? You had a child with a model. Like, what are you doing with me? And he's like, I love meat on my bones. And I'm just like, okay, Danny.
Yeah.
So, I try to explain to women like size does not matter. If they like you, they like you. And especially if you have that connection, then it makes it even better. So
Well, there is pheromones, chemistry.
yes.
There is someone saying the perfect thing at the perfect time. Like when I was younger, I sometimes I would see like a couple in the mall, like walk the mall, not to buy anything, just to have something to do, and like I would see like a knockout girl with like a dude that I was like, what? It'd be like Jelly Roll and his wife. You'd be like,
Right.
what? Like
Right.
or like Ice-T and his wife. You'd be like, what? Like it didn't really click. Like I'm like
Right.
thinking, how do you pull that off? Like I don't know. The guy's got to have a lot of game. How do you talk his way in there? But it's weird because
Yeah.
if with the pheromones and if someone says the right thing at the right time, the it's just a shell. You're just a shell. It's not representative of who you really are. You're just you're just wearing this shell. But it's what on the inside that actually matters a lot more because when you connect with what's on the inside, it doesn't really matter about the other stuff,
Right.
It's true
on that. I totally agree with you on that. It's like
because even when I lost all that weight, I lost over 100 pounds, right? I was at my skinniest, but my skin was wrinkly and I had no boobs and all that stuff. So I was even still self-conscious. And that's what he would say to me. It's just a shell.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's just a shell. So even though it's like, I finally got my dream, right? I'm skinny now. Still wasn't good enough. So it's all in here.
Yes.
And I love that because that's what you're teaching people, not just women, men also. I that's really cool.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And
So
a lot of those guys, when they come to do sessions, it's almost like a therapy session for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a gentleman when I first started off, I had a gentleman who was in his late 70s.
Are you saying dominatrix sessions?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he always felt like he was a female. He always wanted to dress as a woman. He always wanted to, but he was married with kids and grandkids, and he was a grandpa. And so, his one of his bucket list items was to dress as a female and go in public. So I went to Goodwill and I got some items that would fit him, and I let him take me. I think we went to Olive Garden, which is actually pretty cheap compared to where I'd like to go, but
right, especially as a dominatrix.
This wasn't for me. This was for him, right? So yeah, we went to Olive Garden and then we went to the mall and we walked around, and he was not the prettiest woman, but to watch him enjoy being his true authentic self of being free, that was amazing to me. So I kind of help these men live out their fantasies as well, but there's no sex, no oral in these sessions. It's strictly fetish and domination. I'm not a prostitute,
right.
Everything is consensual as far as with the fetishes.
Right.
Have you ever been attracted to any of these men?
There was a couple professional athletes that were very nice looking, not going to lie. But
Okay.
I kept it professional. I wasn't going to cross that line, because once you cross that line, there's no going back.
I get it.
That's money. That's money, and I'm not
exactly
messing with money.
Right. I always
they can get stuff for free, and it's not.
I always wondered if like strippers or even call girls, like, so they have an appointment, they have a client, and they're there to do a job and to get paid. But is it ever like, oh man, this guy's really hot? Because like for men, they have a hard time conceptualizing how women process attraction, because it's very different for women than men.
Yeah.
So, a guy knows if he's attracted to a girl pretty quick, like really quick, and it's not just her appearance. It just might be her whole demeanor, how she acts, what she says, but it's really quick. Like guys it doesn't take them a long time. And then like sometimes I've noticed just through living life that like a guy will have to like kind of like break a chick down. Like they won't like dislike them, but they won't really like them. But then he's like hanging around and he's like, but he's staying out of the friend zone, but like flirtatious a little bit. And then sometimes it ends up clicking. And I've never really understood like where the attraction happens for women. Like,
because we don't trust. I'm going to speak for me. It was hard to trust men because of other maybe instances. I think that, in my opinion, that would be me. Like it would be hard to trust. Like why are you, yeah. I don't know. Angie, do you deal with like women that go through that type of? That's a great situation to bring up, Jason.
Absolutely. So I know just from my own personal past experiences in abusive relationships, being gaslit, being love bombed, being with narcissists, they'll tell you anything you want to hear until they get what they want. So for me, I take everything somebody says with a grain of salt. Like if I feel like a guy is just hitting on me to get one thing, I'm like, show me the money. Now I'm very money, or like I'm in my relationship. I don't care. Like, okay, if you want to talk to me, pay for my time. Like I'm not going to do anything with you except for talk. But is that kind of what you were? Is that what you were saying, or where were you?
So, I was wondering if like I love what you said too, and I could expand on that for forever too. But I was asking more like well, you've dealt with so many different types of couples and women and men that like Jason was saying, like, well, we have to break them down, right? And so I was trying to give the female perspective only from my end. I can only speak from my end, right?
Sure.
Where it's like I feel like maybe trust is the issue. So have you had to deal with couples or women, whatever type of couple, women, whatever, where they're like, the one wants to, well, let's just get this toy, or I don't know why. Have you ever had to deal with that type of stuff?
Absolutely. So 9 times out of 10, if the female partner has a male partner, they're all for bedroom accessories. Yeah, bring something home. Let's use it. Let's try it out. But then every once in a while, you get a man that's like, we don't need that. I'm enough. You know what I'm saying? I have to explain to them, this is not your competition. This is not replacing you. This is an accessory to use together. Like, watch her enjoy. Like, you sit there and probably watch porn of women playing with themselves. Why wouldn't you want to watch the person that you love do the same thing? You know,
Right.
like
Absolutely.
it's not replacing you. You know, let her put on a show for you. That would help boost her confidence as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, that there's a lot of back and forth psychological things, and you know, women have to feel comfortable in their own skin. They have to be able to trust their partner. You know, there's some partners that have gone through infidelity and they're just trying to figure out like where to go from now. You know, like where do I go, and how do I trust this person with my body after they, you know,
Right.
There's a lot of research.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No,
I'm just saying there's a lot of research behind like different conversations that I have to have, because I don't ever want to mislead somebody either, you know, on what's good for you might not be good for the next person either. So I don't know. I don't really remember where I was going with that. Let's be honest.
It's just, people are so complex. It's difficult. It's difficult even when you have all the details and everybody's being honest and everybody's putting it out there and asking for your help. It's still difficult. That's how complex people are. Let alone if people aren't being truthful or stuff isn't being revealed. So I think that's why therapists make thousands of dollars an hour, because people are very complex. They have their own hangups, and now they're with someone and that person has their hangups, and maybe they're not communicating, and maybe they're, even if they are, they're not communicating truthfully. So I think that's why like those people get paid so much money, because it's a lot to try to, it's a lot of plates to keep spinning to get to some sort of like equilibrium where everybody's happy.
Yes.
And I think, Angie, I think you do that. Like, I've seen you, like, there's a line to buy her stuff, right? Only because she's in there talking to them. Like, they are literally talking to her like she's a therapist. I've seen it.
Yeah. That reminds me of another story that I was doing this party for, they were college girls. And there was only like 7 of them there. And I try to read the room when I'm doing my parties, you know, trying to adjust to my audience, right? And I said, you know, I always tell them, even if you're not ordering anything, stop in the ordering room, talk to me. You know, I can give you a little free goodie or whatever. So at this party, when I got to the toys section, this one girl kind of shut down. And I'm like, okay. She didn't really want to touch the toys. She didn't really want anything to do with them. And she was the very first person in my ordering room. And she said, and now, mind you, these women that I just met just that night open up and pour out their heart to me, you know? And the girl said, you know, when I was younger, I was sexually molested. Nobody knows this except for my therapist, who I just started seeing, and now you. Okay. So we literally sat there, we cried together. She said, I finally have a boyfriend. I haven't been intimate with him yet. And I don't know how to explain to him that I don't want, like, I'm scared. I'm scared to be intimate with them because of my sexual traumas. And, you know, she said she's never touched herself. She's never done any of that. And so she was looking to me for advice so that she could, like, kind of know how to explain to her boyfriend why they haven't been intimate yet.
Yeah.
But that was not that. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this since 2012. When I tell you, like, I want to say 6 to 7 out of 10 women that come into my ordering room have been either sexually molested or sexually assaulted in the past. So for us to have to work through that, and again, it goes back to the trust. When you've had a traumatic experience, it is hard to trust somebody with your body, you know?
Especially if you associate your body and being violated, and then then it's like it goes to a whole nother level of just where you're just,
the emotion isn't there, right?
Yeah, you're just
turn off your brain emotionally.
Yeah, you're just in fear.
Yeah.
And it's it yeah, it's like 75%. It's very sad that so many women suffer some sort of terrible experience with sex. Guys don't have that. Most guys, I mean, from me and my friends, like, yeah, you might not get laid till you're 20 or 21 if you're not good with girls or whatever. But it's just like, yeah, you might get a little frustrated, but it's not like a thing. You don't
Now,
associate it with like fear.
A
There's a
trauma.
little bit of like, you feel like a little bit of a failure, but it's not like, I don't think it hinders you from then later going and having a successful relationship with a woman.
Right.
You know, it's just, you're never like, it's not on that level to where it is if someone hurt you in that weird way, because sex is weird because it's something you do that is totally fine in the bedroom with someone you're with that's willing, and you do all this weird shit, but it's like totally not okay anywhere else. So it's a very unique experience. You don't experience it like,
yeah.
you only experience in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't experience it in other ways. So it's obviously, it's very it's like a very small part of your life, but at the same time, it's very distinctive because it is so small.
Right. And it's important.
Sure.
And it's very important.
Yeah.
Sex can help with depression. It can help
Oh yeah.
it can help with migraines, with headaches, with high blood pressure,
Absolutely.
and even depending on, like, if the male is comfortable, prostate milking is actually very, very healthy because it can lessen your chances of having prostate cancer in the future. So it's not just, and a lot of guys will be like, oh, don't touch me there. Or even a lot of guys that come into my dungeon have had some type of molestation as a child, so that's their way of dealing with their molestation, if they like to be pegged, or if they want their prostate milked, or you know what I'm saying? So if they get spanked,
Right.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that for Jason. I'm like, I know you were like, oh, well, that most men, they just don't express it. It's harder for them to accept, maybe not accept, admit that it happened.
Yes.
So
okay, I mean, that's fair.
You know what I mean? You don't know what the other person.
I can only work off the information I have.
Right.
So
Exactly.
like, I don't.
Right. Men and women are different.
I've heard that from several women of like, I was raped. Somebody tried to rape me. Like, I was touched as a kid. Like, I've heard that multiple times. And for guys, I don't ever hear it.
Right. No. That's what I'm saying. It's just a little harder.
Yeah. Because a lot of men feel like that's demasculating.
Correct.
And they don't want to talk about it because it was a trauma. Whereas now that, like, the whole Me Too movement came around, I feel like women are really more capable of talking about that and admitting it, because it's a stigma that people don't want to talk about. So
I get that.
It's easier when like the majority of the world is on your side. It's the people that, we don't need to go into it because I really want to talk about some other things that you have, but like, it's easier when the whole world, or basically the whole world's on your side. Like, this is horrible, this happens to women, but it was like the ones that lie about it. It's like, dude, like, what are you doing, man? Like, this really messes things up for everybody else. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know.
And real quick to add on to that, but even now, women that have gone through that, they still get questioned. Well, what did you do to, what were you wearing? What were you saying? What were you? No. We can be right up to the point where we're both naked laying in the bed and you're about to insert it. If I say no, that's a no. That's a stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Right.
And so, even when women are in that situation and they do come forward, a lot of times we still get questioned about why it happened. What did we do to make that happen? And so that's another thing that I feel society has to overcome, is placing the blame back on the woman for it happening. No, that's not their fault. It's somebody who's sick-minded. So
it's not. And people will probably say I'm a woman hater, but we've always told her, Jason and I have always told I have 3 boys. We've always said, listen, you can be right there, man. Like you just said, if she says, I changed my mind, you have to find the power. You have to find the power within and go, okay, fine. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. It's not. And no, it's not fair.
Right.
But you have to do it.
Right.
So people kind of like, I know when I say that, like they think like, oh my God, but you got to also think from their point of view too. Like,
but I think,
but no means no.
Yeah,
it does. It always does. It always does. And I would never dispute that. But it's very different if a girl's 16, 18, 22, and a guy's like, hey, you want to get a drink in my room? And she goes up there. Now, if the same woman is 35, there's a different context to it. Now,
right. No matter what.
You never force yourself upon a woman. You never do that. That's always wrong. But I think that it's important to understand, okay, the girl that's 35 might be trying to get a lawsuit against this guy because he's a professional athlete. The girl that's 18 is not. She's just too young to know. I probably shouldn't go up to his room at midnight on a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. It's life experiences. Right.
Yeah.
Like when they say, like, well, why'd you go up there? If she's 18, she went up there because she's fucking 18. She doesn't know anything. Now, if she's 35, you got a more legitimate question. Well, you kind of knew what he was getting at when he asked you up for a drink at midnight. You know what I'm saying? Now, that doesn't excuse it if it did happen, but I'm saying that that's kind of a thing that oftentimes when it is like a bullshit allegation, it's not by an 18-year-old chick. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's 25 and she's very worldly or whatever, you know? And I don't want to discredit any victim, and I'm not trying to do that here. I'm just saying that when someone says, why'd you go up there? If she's young.
Maybe because I wanted to get fucked, and at the last minute I changed my mind.
Okay, and that's fair too. But I'm just saying, like, you need to understand that to an 18-year-old girl, do you want to come up to my room and have a drink?
Yeah, I want to get fucked. At the last minute I changed my mind.
Okay. Or maybe she just really thought she was going to get a drink. Maybe she didn't understand that level of it.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying. My point was when I tell the boys, yeah, that's not fair. I wanted them to understand that their feelings when they were like, oh, I didn't do it, but what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with her? I wanted them to understand those feelings are okay. That's what I was talking about. Because of course you're going to be like, what are you talking about? What? That's what I was talking about. Anyway, let's move on. Every point is valid. I swear. I get it, Jason. You and I, no, you're not a dickhead. You're nothing. You and I have had many talks about this, and I agree with you with many of those points too. But I'm also giving you the other side of it. Anyway,
I'm a Libra, so I always try to see both sides of the story.
Yeah. Well, you have to. Yeah. I think you have to. All right. So out of all those jobs, I know this can go on for 3 hours and I would do it all night. I love it. And regardless, you're coming back because I know that everything that we're not going to get this in it all one night, but so you have to be a recurring guest.
I love that.
So we've talked about the pure romance. We've talked about the dominatrix. Mm-hmm. Do you have an Only channel?
Yeah, I do.
Can we talk about that for a little bit?
I do have an OnlyFans page, and that's a lot of like dominatrix stuff. And so I co-own a business called Polar Bear Nation Incorporation. By the way, my dominatrix business is a corporation. I made it a legit legal corporation. I pay my taxes on it. Everything is called DMTRX.Inc.
Okay.
But anyways, so I do. I did adult content. adult film content. We actually specialized in BBW interracial.
What does that mean? I don't know what BBW means.
Big beautiful women.
Oh,
So
okay.
plus size women, and we did that with like interracial. So we were doing that for a while, but so the thing with that is, all these guys, they want to come and they want to be on camera and they want to perform and and then they get there and my videographer is a man and you have all these papers you have to sign. You have to come with a clean bill of health from the doctor 7 to 10 business days prior to this filming, and when lights, camera, and actions come on, so,
Yeah.
it got frustrating and a lot of time was wasted doing that. So we actually changed Polar Bear Nation into a BBW networking and event business. So like we do big events with BBWs and BBW lovers. So if you love a BBW, you can come and, we just network, and if you find love, you find love. It's not like a matching business or anything like that, but we want to do more of the body positivity.
It's an in-person type of thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
I also have we have a Facebook page it's a Facebook group. So
Say it. What is it?
Polar Bear Nation. Polar Bear
Say it
Nation.
again. I'm sorry. I think I cut you off. I'm sorry. Say it again.
No, it's polarbearnation.inc, I think, or I think we just changed the name of it. Polar Bear Nation BBW Networking of Cleveland, also Cleveland and Ohio. But
what we'll try to do, I know we're still learning this software, but we'll try to get all the links that you want, in the comment section or whatever.
I would love that. Thank you.
Yeah. See, that's what I like. I'm telling you that, like, you really are an entrepreneur. But like, you had a certain idea. Well, it wasn't working, so we're going to switch to this. You don't stop yet. You don't stop the plan. You don't stop the, like, this is where my vision is. It's really cool. It's different. I remember
my OnlyFans is more of like my dominatrix stuff on that one. We do have a Polar Bear Nation OnlyFans also that has our adult content that we've filmed in the past. So, we just, my thing is posting. I am not as good with technology and posting like I should. So that's kind of where we should have had like a social media manager, I guess.
So if
Jason, I say the same thing to Jason. I don't know how to do this. We got to hire someone. We have to hire someone.
So if someone on OnlyFans, if someone pays to like subscribe to you, then they get access to your content. Is that how it works?
Yes, it is. Exactly.
Okay.
Or even if you don't, because I know that some people don't want to sign up or online for that, because if they have a significant other and they don't want their significant other to find out that they've been paying to, subscribing. So I can sell videos too, like just person to person. So I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
Well, now it's X, but I'm on that. I've been kicked off Instagram way too many times for that business, so I don't do that business on there anymore.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Snapchat. I'm on FetLife.
What are, if you want to answer it and you don't have to?
Sure.
What are some things that you do, if you want to say?
Are you talking about in the dominatrix world?
Well, just
or
like
just in general, like what?
So someone's on your only channel. So what are they going there? Like, are they watching you dominate someone, or are you dominating them? Like,
they have a subscription, and that lets them access like the stuff you've posted, and then if they want more, they have to send you a special fee or something.
No. They can always just contact me and be like, hey, we're interested in seeing this kind of content. And I've made special videos for people, to send to them without extra, because OnlyFans actually kind of switched things up. And so you have to be really cautious about what you post, because, other people and consent, and which I totally understand. So, I have a couple long-term subs that have been with me for years. And so those are the subs that I usually create content with.
Okay.
Excuse me. If I do have sessions, live in-person sessions where the sub is like, hey, feel free to video us, or they just don't want a tattoo shown or their face or whatever,
Mm.
then I can film that content with their permission and consent and post that as well. So yeah,
All right.
you can see me on there doing a lot of stuff.
All right. Yeah, that's cool.
Like,
I just
if you're
I
comfortable, tell me
never.
one. If you're comfortable, tell me a few. If you're comfortable.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
never.
like, what have they asked you to do?
So,
If you're comfortable.
oh, I have no problem. So actually it was funny, was it this past Friday night? Maybe it was last Friday night. I had a friend come over, and one of my subs who's been with me for years, even his wife knows about me. He's paid for me and her to go to dinner together.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wild, man.
It's awesome. So anyways, I host ladies' nights also with this, where like a group of women can come. They pay, I think it's like $250 for 5 women to come for the evening. My subs will serve you food and alcohol, and then you get to watch me do a mini live session in my dungeon. Then you guys can use my subs however you want. So
it's more a dominatrix thing.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a ladies' night. It's not pure romance related. It's DMTRX related. But so I was sitting here with my friend who came over Friday night, and she's never seen anything like this. So I had my sub come over. He brought us some wine. He had a couple toys, and there's only 2 that I let into my home, because like I said, they've been with me for years, and I trust them. We have an actual friendship on top of our dom sub relationship. So he had a couple toys here, and so I made him suck on one of the toys while he was sitting and riding the other one. We had it on the stairs. We had it on the stairs. He was on the, and I like to play a game. You need to come on the number that I give you. If you do not come on that number, you owe me $5 for every second. You are either over or under that number.
Wow.
Okay. So I train these men to be able to come on command.
Wow.
So I said to my friend, I was like, you want to see a trick? And so I said, I looked at my sub and I said, your number is 40. And we did a countdown, 40 to 0. And he was able to on that number because he's learned his lesson plenty of times by having to pay me for not being on that number. So
yeah.
And that's what they want. That's what they want, right?
Absolutely. And they love not all of them, but humiliation, degradation. So I take all of those years of being called the fat girl and never wanted by any of these guys when I was little, and my anger from my abusive relationships in the past. And my mouth can be very, very,
I get it.
I know how to cut someone down.
If
they're me the right amount. Otherwise, I'm all for lifting other people up, but unless you're going to pay me to cut you down,
Well, right. I mean, if that's what they want, I mean,
they love it.
They're not touching you. There's no sex. They're not touching you. You're not touching them sexually. Nope. Right. So, because if you did, then it's prostitution.
Right.
Which Jason and I, we've always said, like, yeah, but okay, if you're paying someone and there's a camera, that's not prostitution either. But if there's not a camera, then it is. Like, it makes
it doesn't make any sense.
The lines on that are very blurry. Definitely.
Very. Yeah. So, is there a favorite one that you enjoy more out of all the things that you're involved in? Is there a favorite one?
As far as my businesses?
For you, like, which one do you enjoy the most? All the businesses, yes. Is there one?
I don't know if I can say there is one in particular, because a lot of my businesses, like even with the Get Curvy with Angie, I'm helping women feel better about themselves with my body contouring and, that kind of stuff, like help building their confidence that way. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because I meant to bring that up. Say it again. I meant to bring that up.
You're fine. No, Get Curvy with Angie is I do body contouring. So I do laser lipo. It's not invasive, BBLs, cavitation, red light therapy. So I do, I just help break down the fat cells, smooth out the skin tightening. Just if they want to be more contoured, I can help them do that too. So I feel like when we feel good about ourselves, we present to the world a different energy, a different light. So
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy doing that too. So that's part of like the empowering women as well. Well, I've had men come do it too. So it's just people in general. But I would probably have to say that my favorite thing to do is a wallet rinse in the dominatrix world. So
I have no idea what that is.
So wallet rinse is where men just pay you money to drain their bank accounts. And so I like to play a game. I've done it quite a few times. My mom actually witnessed me one time. It was kind of funny. Because my Cash App kept going off. And she's like, Andy, what is that noise? And my mom knows what I do. I'm very open and honest with her. The only person that doesn't know is my father. He would.
Okay, I thought so. Wow.
Yeah. But
okay.
So what happens is I tell the guy to pick a number. They pick a number. They send me that amount. In 5 minutes, they double that amount. In 5 more minutes, they double that amount. In 5 minutes until their bank account is drained. I might leave them with $1 because it's a psychological thing. Oh my God, she didn't take all my money. I need it all gone. So let me leave you $1.
Wow, man.
Because then you weren't all the way fulfilled. And I still got my money. I think the most I ever did was a little over 5,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my next one under that was like 2,800.
Right. You're not being an asshole. That's what they want.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You're not doing it because you don't. Honestly, it's kind of like you do give a shit. That's why you're doing it. They are asking you to do this.
Yes. That's what they're paying me for. They get off on giving me money.
Taken advantage of. Yeah. It's just their thing, man.
It's legal. It's legal. And I love that because that's easy work right there. Every once in a while, I'll send a text like, you're not worthy to send me money, or you don't need that money. That money belongs to me. You know what I'm saying? And they eat that shit up. They eat it up.
You think the majority of your stuff is your customers, or clients, let's call them clients, I guess. I don't know what to call them.
Yeah.
It's more of the domineering. They prefer the dominant. So that's more of like your clients. It's like that's your bigger thing, the domineering thing.
Yeah, because
I can see that.
With the dominatrix thing, like I charge $150 a half hour, $285 an hour, but they have to pay a deposit at the time of booking, and that deposit is half of the session fee. Because a lot of times guys will book a session and then not show up, and then I've scheduled time out. So that's why I do the deposits now. And I encourage every woman that's doing this business to require, and even if a guy hits me up on like Snapchat, like in order to talk to me, you need to tribute. Send me some money to know that you're serious, because a lot of guys will, well, if I booked a session with you, what would happen in the session? And then I go through that. I learned the hard way in my early years. I would go through, oh, well, what do you want done? Okay, this, and this. They just got off on that conversation.
Yeah.
And I didn't get anything out of it. We call them time wasters. So, in order to, if you're serious, if you're a serious sub, you need to tribute first to know, so that I know that you're serious and not just wasting my time.
And a tribute is what, like a gift?
Money. Send me money. Cash App, PayPal.
Before anything happens? Before anything happens?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'll have a hi, how you doing?
Well, you know what? I think there's in my opinion, there's a huge misconception. When people hear dominatrix shit, they think woman in leather, beating the crap out of someone, right? And this guy's gagged and all that stuff.
Too.
Maybe, right, exactly. Maybe that's part of it. And sometimes, but like you said, you're just going, no, now you got to double the money. Yeah. And they're going, okay, but that's part of it. Like, it's not just some woman like beating some man.
That's the psychological, because then I don't have to do anything physical. I don't have to
look. You're not even in the same room.
Bed. I'm literally laying in my bed. Like my boyfriend has witnessed me do wallet rinses. He was like, dang, what are they up to now? And I'll be like, 2,300, you know? So,
Right. And before people start freaking out, this is what they want.
oh, yeah.
You're giving
This
them
is
what they
exactly
want.
what they want.
It's
I'm
just
not
like a
doing
tip or
anything that
two.
they're
It's the
not
same
asking me to
thing.
do. Yeah, everything is very consensual, and that's what they want me
Right.
to do. They pay me to
Right.
do that. They're literally handing their money over to me.
Right.
Who am I to say no? Who am I? Who am I to wreck this man's dream of giving me every penny in his bank account? You know?
Well, listen. Now it's a whole. In my opinion, it's probably a whole story. He has enough money. Okay, this is set aside. This is my opinion. He set this money aside. I'm going to do my thing on Friday. Oh no, it's my last dollar. No, it's not. If you have $2,500 to just spit out, that's
Right.
not your last dollar, baby. But
So,
it's the whole story. That's just my opinion, and that's
absolutely.
fine. That's fine, man. Whatever gets you. People look at feet. They want to suck on top. It's just
Hell yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
make a lot of money off my feet. I make a lot of money off of my feet.
I
I've
knew it.
actually, like, you know those little shavers that like do the calluses?
Yes.
Okay, so I have sold the clippings that come off of my feet. Yeah. Yeah. I sent a man a little baggie this full of my foot shavings for $150. He was in North Carolina and I sent it to him. So yeah, they'll buy anything. Panties, old
Wow.
worn shoes, urine, feces, you name it,
Wow.
I sold it. But
And I'm not judging by my reactions. It's just
oh no,
like it
it's
truly
interesting.
what the brain, whatever the brain, like that fantasy, man, like
And I don't judge. I don't judge.
no,
That's
you
money in
can't.
my pocket, and you're getting happy from it. That's fine.
Yes,
But
right.
I do want to touch on. You had mentioned that, you know, some people have this money set aside for this. Now, I have had one instance
Mm,
where I did a wallet rinse, and the guy wanted an in-person session also. Now, he sent me maybe I want to say it was close to like $1,800 that he had sent me prior to this session, which he paid the deposit for. Well, when he came in, because of the things that he wanted, um,
mm,
it sounded good to him until it came to the point where it came time for action,
mm.
and he wasn't ready. He didn't, you know, and instead of taking his money for that session, I gave it back to him. And it wasn't just, I mean, like, even though I knew that he had the money that he could have just given to me, I wasn't ethically, I couldn't do that to the guy. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like, I do have a
I do.
heart. I do see that
Of
he was,
course.
you know, he had just spent $1,800 a few days ago on me, like, and he was going
Right.
to give me 700 for the session that he wanted because he, you know, we call it a toilet training session.
Mm.
Um,
Well,
so
I think that you have to, because it's not all about sex. It's not all about sexual impulse.
right,
It truly is about connection.
yes,
So I feel that if you're dominating in whichever way, it is still about trust. That
right,
person has to trust that you are not going to
absolutely,
forget to say the safe word or right take advantage. It truly is still a relationship.
yes, yes,
But it truly is a relationship with true boundaries. Like
yes,
you, because
yes.
don't you maybe it's in the movies, but don't you like come up with like a thing like I
A safe
want this,
word,
this, and this, and don't do this, this, and this. Like
yes,
you have like an
yes.
agreement, right?
Absolutely. So anytime somebody comes for a session, we go over their hard limits. Like what is an absolute no? Like, you know, some people don't want any spanking done or they don't want, you know, they have their hard limits. So we go over their
Yeah.
hard limits. I explain to them that, you know, this is the safe word. Well, I actually do the stoplight method where red means stop.
Mm.
Yellow means I like it, but maybe lighten up a little bit, like mostly like for the spanking or like CBT, which is cock and ball torture,
Oh,
or
okay.
you know what I'm saying, like just different things
Mm.
that they want done, but it's getting to
Sure.
be too intense for them. And you got to understand that when we're in these sessions, not only does the dominatrix, myself, get into this mode and this mentality, so do the subs. It's almost like an out of body experience for some of them. So afterwards, aftercare is very important as well. You know, you can't like, okay, get the fuck out. I'm done with you now. I took your money. I spanked you. You're done. You know what I'm saying? Like there's aftercare. There's
You're saying you just don't kick them out.
no,
Right.
you know, like
I mean, you're not like loving them and hugging them, but you're at least like, hey, okay, see
you
you
gotta
next
let them
week.
come down from their
Right, right,
experience and
right.
get back into their right mind before they jump in the car and take off and go
You
home. You know?
okay? You
So
wait till they get You wait till
there's
they
a lot
get
of
there until they
aspects
leave.
into it too, because you always want to make sure that your subs are mentally okay as well. You know, because we call it the dom crash or the sub crash, like where after a scene, after a session, you're on such this high that you have to come down. It's almost like an addiction, like in a drug. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get that high and then you're coming down and you're looking for your next fix. And it's the same because it's a psychological thing. So, you know, you have to practice aftercare if that's what the sub needs. You know, there's like my one sub that's been with me for 9 years. He doesn't need the aftercare anymore because he's been in the lifestyle for 20 some years. He knows how to deal with his own.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But again, it goes with trust, right? You
Absolutely.
can let's say a relationship, a married couple, it's trust, right?
Yes.
To let that freedom come. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Even though you're not having sex with them, you are not touching them physically. You're hitting them if they want. You're yelling at them if they want, but you're not having sex with them. You're not groping them. None of that.
Right.
It still has to have trust.
And
amazing.
To be honest, sometimes it has to be even more because if you're tied up on a table with a complete stranger,
talk about vulnerability.
You've only had a couple conversations with.
Yeah,
you
talk
know,
about
you
being
have
vulnerable.
to be able to trust that person to not do something that you don't want them to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it does take a lot of trust, and I feel like that's why I have a lot of subs that continually come back. Usually the lifespan of a sub dom relationship is only 6 months. I have several that have been coming to me for years. So building that trust, that connection, that relationship, you know, it makes a world of difference. I know I sound like, yes, I'm just here to take your money, but like my one sub of 9 years, his mom just passed away yesterday, and I've been constantly just checking on him. Are you okay? How are you? You know, like the guy that pays for me and his wife to go out to dinner, like he comes over and fixes things around the house for me that I need done. Like it's just, you build that relationship and you got to have that trust there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. How many subs an idea of average, how many do you think you have?
Right now at the current moment?
Yeah.
Like 5 regulars.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 that are like, I talk to almost on a daily basis. Those are the one that's been around for 9 years now. He'll come over. He has chores that he has to do. So he comes over, does my dishes, my laundry, takes out the trash on Wednesdays, brings the trash can back up on Thursday. He buys me anything I need, my coffee.
You got any sub girls that you could send my way? Because I got dishes and laundry, garbage needs to go out. My kids are lazy.
And I'm not doing the laundry either.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
That's funny. That's funny.
You know, he buys my toilet paper, towels, everything that I need. So,
but that's part of the fantasy that he wants, right?
Yes, because his sole purpose in this life is to please Mistress Angie and to make sure that she doesn't want for nothing.
Right.
And he will be on his knees and say that. You know, all I have to do is this. What is your sole purpose in life? And he says it.
And that makes him feel good.
Absolutely.
And then when he's done doing his chores, he goes home and he goes to work.
Yeah. To make
I want to say there's not a lot of dominatrix men out there. If they are, God bless those men, because that's.
But you're saying you don't know that,
there
Jason.
Actually are. There's a lot of male.
Right. I'm saying you don't know that.
Really?
But
you're so funny.
Men are more willing to pay than women are.
I can see
That is
that.
how it goes. That is how it goes.
Women like to be dominated
Are you
more in the
okay?
bedroom, or like the caretaker role, or they may have different kinks and fetishes. Whereas, the men, they'll pay for that shit. They don't care. A lot of times they're married and they don't want their
Yeah.
wives to know that they like to
Yeah.
be put in a room with another male, and they call it forced by, even though it's not forced.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably nothing I haven't
I guess
experienced.
it's just from my personal point of view, like I can't imagine that like I'm commanding a woman to come over to my house, do my laundry, clean my dishes, and then I'll tell you how worthless you are, or I'll spank you or whatever. Like I can't see a woman being like, "No, I'm not gonna do that. What are you talking about?" Like,
Right.
Jason. Now come
what?
on. I do some of that. Like I like to serve you, right? Right?
I mean, yeah, there's
But that's
there's 40% of that in there for you. I get that.
Yeah. So I'm sure there are more men than like you're like men don't do that. That you can't. That's not true. Of course there are.
the women
I
just
mean,
don't want to pay for it, nor
I
should they
understand.
have to.
right.
They do. Maybe they're gonna. Okay. Maybe. Am I echoing because the door isn't closed? Okay. So maybe the women aren't paying for it with cash, but they're going over there, like you said, Jason. They are going there and doing his laundry. They are going there and washing his dishes and mopping his floors and cleaning his toilets and his showers. And that's how they're paying him back. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And that they want to
Right.
feel
Right.
like
Yeah.
That
they
is
want to feel like the 50s wife. Like I do that to you. I want to serve you. You go and make your own dinner plate, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like it makes me feel a certain way. And you know me, I'm not that type of person that usually does that, but that makes me feel a certain way, right? And so that's what I think they would get out of it. Of course, there's
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, maybe I don't know because I'm not
a
in those.
dominatrix.
you're not it. You're
Yeah,
not one
I'm
of
not in
them.
those type of circles. It
You're
seems
not
like
like, go
Neither
get
am
your
I,
apron on and
but
cook me dinner, woman.
no. It just seems like it makes sense for a guy to pay for that type of interaction because
Right.
I'm a guy, so I know guys, and if like a guy is into like, oh, this weird thing gets me off, I want to get off, I'm gonna do this weird thing. Like they're not thinking about anything else.
No.
But like women seem a little more prudent with their money and who they invest time in. So like they'll date a loser guy for years that's going nowhere. They'll definitely do that, but I don't think they'll pay some guy to tell them they're worthless or spank them or
Jay.
take all my money.
But
I
we
love
shouldn't
it.
have
Like
to. We shouldn't have to because we're sitting on gold mines anyways.
You're just I think you're just not you're not I feel like you're not thinking of it as like we can go forever with this, but I think that like you said a man just wants to get off, right? A woman gets off, I think, in multiple different ways.
absolutely.
Brain,
Yes.
right? A lot of it's emotional too. So like we have friends that they act like a 50s wife and that's what they do and it makes them feel good and it makes them feel important and that's what fulfills them.
Yes.
I mean that I think that's part of it. You know what
And
I mean?
everybody gets
No,
fulfilled
I
in
mean, like,
different ways.
I'm not hating. It's all good.
I don't think you are.
Yeah, it's all okay.
I sense
just
some envy there. I sense some envy,
a
Jason.
little bit,
Thank you.
a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of jealousy. I would love to have a girl be like, I need you to take all the money out of my account and do it as fast as you can. And if I don't do it fast enough, then you tell me to do it faster. They're like, okay, like that seems like you're living the dream, Angie.
That's right.
You know,
I have 2 accounts you don't even know about, baby. You're not getting any of that money.
Gravy train with biscuit wheels, man.
Yes. I love my life. I absolutely love my life.
Oh,
awesome.
that's wonderful.
That's
What
awesome.
a great I love that you just said that. You have to come back on. I could
I
talk to you
can't.
all night long.
Yes,
I
I'm here.
love ending it with what you just said.
Yes,
I love that.
I love my life, and I feel like everybody should.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think that you contribute to that. I really, really do. I really do.
Yeah.
So our podcast is called One Last Question. And I'm really trying to think of a good question to ask you, but
We covered a lot.
We did.
we
We
did.
did.
We did. But do you, I guess my one last question is, do you have a favorite uh sex toy? I don't know what do you call it? Sexual whatever enhancement toy. Do you have a favorite sexual? What vibrators are the ones that vibrate? Dildos are the ones that don't, right?
Yes.
So, what is in your opinion, the best? Let's say bestseller, maybe vibrator.
I have two bestsellers.
Okay.
So I have a dual action called the Main Attraction that was actually designed by a gynecologist because a lot of times when women have orgasms, our body naturally pushes out. So it's actually designed to stay in place when you have the orgasm, so it makes your orgasms more intense. So the Main Attraction is my number one selling. The second number one selling for me personally is called the Adventure Curve, and it has this little. It's kind of shaped like a little C. It's got this little. You know what? I could go grab it real quick and show it to you. My demo toy. If you
Sure.
guys want to see
Yeah,
it?
sure.
See what it. Okay, let me go grab it. Hold on.
Absolutely.
Enjoy my plants.
Absolutely. It's just amazing. I mean, there's so much to cover, Jason. Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
she's cool.
Yeah, it's a very healthy conversation to have. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So much. It's so interesting. And I think that it like breaks down a lot of barriers too. I really do. I understand like people hear like, oh my gosh, dominating and only and dildos and vibrators and of course, but it does go like farther than that. Oh, what was that dude? The porn guy with
Which one?
with the big weenie.
Ron Jeremy?
Yeah, I remember I watched him doing an interview, and people were like, "You have ruined you're horrible women and men. Their marriages have ended." And he's like, "I have more people telling me that I saved their marriages just because they're watching porn." You know what I mean?
He's
And
in jail now. He's in a psych
I
unit.
know. I guess I shouldn't have picked him, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Well, of course he is. He's Ron Jeremy. Of course he is in jail. Go ahead. Sorry. She's
Oh
back.
no, you're good. You're good. So
All right.
this is actually the Adventure Curve, and it's got this little sleeve. So when you turn this on, this little sleeve has air technology that feels like you're getting oral. Okay, so it's not technically sucking, but it gives the oral sensation. And then you have this part that's going to be inserted vaginally, and so you're getting kind of like a 2-for-1. It's also a dual action, but this thing right here,
It sucks, or it's like a
it
suction
doesn't
cup type of
suck.
thing.
It doesn't suck. It has air technology, so it feels kind of like a suction,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's not actually like sucking it. So
Okay.
yeah, it's called the Adventure Curve. And then if you don't want the little sucking sensation, this actually the sleeve comes off, and then you have. I'm trying to find my camera here. There we go. So like this part right here vibrates. So
Okay.
this is what's underneath the sleeve, giving it the air technology.
What do you mean by sleeve? I guess I
So
missed
this
it.
little
Sorry.
so this little part right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this slides on and off. So you can actually get different sensations. So whether you want vibration or if you want the sucking oral sensation, even though it's not sucking, it feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually use this with a partner too. My boyfriend and I have used this. And so while this was inserted, this is hitting up against my clitoris. This is inside. And then he actually would slide in underneath it. So when he slid in, this would like give it more of a
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Jason,
Yeah.
do you have one last question?
Carrie's like, can you order me 2 of those, please? Jason's like, yeah, let's try that.
My one last question is, did you enjoy coming on and talking with us, Angie? And will you do it again?
Absolutely. I would
Yeah.
be honored to come do it again. I appreciate this. And I had a blast. I feel
Yeah,
like
that
I
was
did so much
fun.
talking.
We
I'm so
enjoyed
sorry.
it too.
And we have only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
There's so much I could get into. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we will.
This was
And we
just the
will.
tip of the iceberg.
Right.
When they say,
Yeah.
let's just put the tip in, this is what we did. We
That's
just
right.
put the
That's
tip in,
right.
baby.
And we will. Seriously, maybe it'll be like a monthly thing because I really think it's so important. To,
Yeah.
like, you know, like
I'm down for it.
people have to hear
Yeah.
this stuff. I really believe that.
Yeah. And I even you know, and even if you want to talk to me and my girlfriend together, our boyfriend is a little bit more on the shy side when it comes to talk. I mean, we're all new to the poly relationship thing, but I know my girlfriend and I would feel more comfortable coming on if you guys want to talk to like a poly,
Yeah, it's cool, man.
you know, just
Yeah.
offering. Just offering.
I would really like that. And
Yeah, that's cool.
because I want to learn because I don't understand a lot of that.
Okay.
Right.
And
So I will,
that's one thing that we want to, we're actually thinking about making some TikToks and stuff about explaining just our dynamic, you know, like how our poly relationship works because we don't live with each other or anything. So yeah. we can definitely
Right, yeah.
Love that.
Because I would love to educate people on that as well, because there's a stigma again around that.
There is.
So,
Sure. And like I said, I don't even understand it. And my brain goes, you don't have to understand it, but I want to understand it. So absolutely, I would love that. Yeah, let's reach out. Thank you so much, man. This is great.
No problem. I appreciate you guys having me, and just let me know whenever you
Absolutely.
want me back.
Yeah.
Hopefully people don't get scared off by me.
Not at all.
No, oh my gosh.
We have 2 fans and they're not going anywhere. There's no chance they get scared off.
Nope. Like my OnlyFans subscribers. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, thank you so much. I will get in contact with you. I love it. I love it. It's good. This is good. This is good. Sorry if my screen went. Did my screen go black? Sorry. This is good, and I think this is very powerful. And people need to hear this stuff.
I'm here for it. Just let me know whenever you guys want me back.
All right. It'll be very soon.
I'm going to end the recording. Bye, everybody.
Love you, baby.
Bye, guys.
Bye.